The first couple of narrators in this poem are antelopes, and it's called The Lottery. You heard it from an antelope and tried to tell your analyst the rational explanation for your nervousness. Listen, no impala is stupid, huh? We may look that way 'cause of the staring and chewing. Staring and chewing. But listening intently is what we're really doing. We have no choice. We know the stats. We're the primary diet of various big cats, painted dogs, and spotted hyenas. Essential ingredients in nature's great opus. But unfortunately for us, it's a cookbook. Look, it's no coincidence there's over 100,000 of us impalas here in Kruger Park, but only like 1,600 lions. All too delighted to invite us to dine, huh? Hey, here's some ruminant humor for you. How do you get 100 impala to leave your house party, huh? Just drop everything and listen. When I was young, I used to wait for everyone to suddenly start running all at once in the same direction at a frantic pace. Except for that one dude. Too old, too young, too sick, or too stunned, stupid to move, even when pheromonally warned to by the whole group. But the poor dupe, his last words were, "Where's everyone running to?" Oh, dang, I'm screwed. Then those dreadful guttural noises of predator crushing esophagus. When the rest of us finally reach safety, maybe we try to comfort each other. Well, you know, Joe, that whole branch of the family shrub is so slow, it's a wonder they didn't all die out eons ago. For an antelope, the age of innocence is short. But what can you do? You gotta know. If you're not trying to eat anybody, most likely somebody's trying to eat you. They say we all drink from the same pool, but no antelope takes lingering cat naps in the mid-afternoon unless he's a damn fool. We're at the bottom of the pyramid, so our numbers need be myriad. We lack the luxury to lounge around belly aching over how they misspelled our names on the menu. We got more important things to do than ruminate over the meaninglessness of existence with you. Leave the philosophizing to the predators who do love to have something amusing to muse upon while they're all about digesting. After an antelope reaches maturity, it serves no earthly purpose to assert her personality against the rest of the herd. That kind of behavior is never in the interest of self-preservation. When you're a prey animal, you need to blend in with the herd, not be seen and not be heard, because it could be any of us at any time. It's pretty random, really. The young bucks are lucky for their antlers and their speed, but all of us are fast. You have to be, or you're lunch meat. Scapegoat tartar. It's a little like living in a science fiction movie or in Shirley Jackson's short story, The Lottery. The very collectivity we rely upon for security also makes us complicit in this ritual culling of Antelope Society. It's roughly the same every time. As soon as the day seems to be going maybe a little too peacefully, we all get to feeling jumpy like we're being spied on by leonine eyes or leered at by sneering hyena. The chief does his best to warn us about whatever it is, but very often another mother's child goes missing again. There's no justice in it. It just is like this. An antelope needs to hit the ground running even before the word go. Quadrupedalism ain't as easy as it looks, you know. Any newborn oryx or gnu needs to sort it out soon so he can hoof it with the rest when he hears the alarm, and then we all just try to hang together. Whoever becomes separate from the group is pretty well doomed, and everyone knows it. Yet some of us seem to be brought into the world for little more reason than this. So folks think we antelope don't care about our kids as much as certain other animals do because we don't spend like a whole year teaching them how to hunt and fish. They say we expose our kids to too many treacherous situations too young. As though we had any say in the matter other than smothering every single one. If it's not my child who's taken to feed the lions, it'll be another mother's child, so it's no less my loss than hers if she's bereaved first. It could really be any of us. You think antelope have time to mope about at funerals like elephants do for their dead? There's not usually much left of us, to be blunt about it. So we don't take each other's company too much for granted. Keep ears and eyes open and try to blend in with the foliage. Early life can be a minefield for any kid who's a little bit different. It seems inevitable even junior society will pick out and crucify certain personalities as a sign to the rest to stay in line. Some are cast out into the wilderness where they stumble into the clutches of predators, the brambles of crime running rampant all around them, because there very often is no warning sign and there is no catcher in the rye. You can't ultimately protect a child from barreling blindly headfirst into her own fate, now can you? Couldn't it be she's just in the wrong place at the wrong time? Couldn't it be she's just walking home from the 7-Eleven a few blocks from her house, even feeling a wee bit saucy in her new maroon ski jacket and stretched denim jeans? Grade 8 being the first year she doesn't have to wear those polyester flood pants with the elastic waistband. No, but actual clingy-ass stretched denim jeans. Then lo and behold, a full pack of grown men with ice-cold, extra-old stock beer and stubby bottles, sunglasses, sideburns, and mustaches whistle at her as she passes the front porch, where they're standing around like the spitting image of a Bob Seger tribute band. This gang of jackasses is out there every week, partying in that yellow house right across the street from the high school. They like to tell a girl that one of her friends is already there at the party. And maybe they give her very first beer. So she has no way of telling if it tastes a bit weird. Then, hey, wait a minute, there are no other girls in here. But now who's this guy with the worried eyes, claps his buddy on the shoulder, says, 13 gets you 30, Kevy. Some kind of brotherly warning you don't fully grasp. The same worried-eyed guy who'd asked your age and you'd lied and said 13 when it was still 3 weeks to your birthday. But it's too late. You already hate your stretched denim jeans if they just make you look like some dumb slut flattered by drunks whistling at her butt. But resistance is chemically dissipating, as though your brain were melting in a pool of wax beside the bare mattress, as though you'd solidify there by the bare zebra striped mattress, unaware and completely unconscious of how you got upstairs in the first place. And no, it wouldn't get Kevy 30 years or even 30 gray hairs if he didn't get caught, which he was not apt to do if you didn't press charges, which you, in perverse defiance of your parents, are not on your life about to do. Not after having to deal with being dragged to emergency and having your mother, who hasn't even said 2 words to you, hovering over you in the examination room. She doesn't speak, doesn't seem to want to touch you. Just keeps her arms wrapped tightly round herself as though afraid her ribs might fall open, while her adolescent daughter lies askew on the white sheets like a peeled carcass. It seemed the only thing to do to reclaim your own dignity was to say no. No, you didn't want to press charges. No, no, 1,000 times no. You'd really rather forget the whole fucking thing, thanks, all the same. You didn't want to have to see that gang of creeps again. You kidding me? Hell no. You have no intention of even mentioning the subject to anyone ever again. But then, 2 days later, find yourself wandering back to the same yellow house as one returns to the scene of a crime to find it gutted. Gutted. No blaring silver bullet band, no puffy vinyl furniture seen through the picture window. They probably left that stinky bare mattress right there on the upstairs floor, though no one would bother saving something like that. Then a man speaks suddenly and scares you half out of your wits, but when you turn around, it's only the elderly owner of the building asking if you knew the guys who lived there. No, you don't know them at all. Why does he want to know? Well, because they just took off and left overnight without telling a soul where they were going, he says. Every last one of those young men took off out of here like they thought someone was chasing them. Like they thought someone was chasing them, you heard the man say, as though you were the predator and they were the prey. This one's called Human Fish. I want to tell you a story about an amphibian I know. Not right away, though. Let's start with a species closer to home and go slow. And see if we can recognize anyone we know. We never crawled out of the cave. It's not in our nature to crave too much sunshine. We never even grew eyes, but blindness has always worked fine for us. We have lungs, we have limbs, we have places to swim. We have all the fresh shrimp we can eat. We've got little hands and feet. We're nobody's masters and nobody's slaves. So why would we crawl out of our caves? The Slovenian cave salamander, Proteus anguinus, was proclaimed by Charles Darwin, who invented evolution, to be a wreck of ancient life. It hadn't changed a bit in several million years, never really felt the need to. It was nobody's food. But from the point of view of evolution, this amphibian had failed to thrive. It had missed the whole point about being alive. You're supposed to have to fight to survive. But Darwin was a human just like most of us here, except for all you aliens and the yeast in the beer. And according to him, aren't we top of the heap? No mind that we're the only apes losing sleep over mistakes we made. The global stakes we've raised to code red. We've let so many down and left so many dead. It's been survival of the fittest, like the man said. And speaking of ingenuity and longevity, we succeed in making the human species the public enemy of practically everybody. We funky monkeys make it highly unlikely that any future generation will see Siberian tigers on safari vacations. So Darwin's assessment of the Proteus as unenlightened and unambitious makes me slightly curious and a little suspicious, especially since these particular salamanders are also known as human fishes. And it's a little bit typical, a little predictable, the traditional view that the ones lower down writhe in the dark, while the ones higher up thrive in the light. One is wrong and one is right. This historical tendency to think in terms of black or white. Down in the cave, the human fish is white and blind. But those who crawl outside grow eyes, and their skins turn black in the sunshine. But then again, turning back to the cave, they change from black to white again, and once more blind. The human fish thinks with a very old mind, but then it's only ever lived with its own kind. Thin-skinned, four-limbed, skimming over stones, then diving deep asleep. Four-limbed with lungs, four-limbed with gills. We soak our limbs in oxygen, locate a breathing space within to facilitate communication with outer elements. There's an elemental intelligence which senses the presence of electrical currents and the delicate neurological workings of lower invertebrates. We don't need eyes down here because it's too dark to see. And those lower invertebrates taste mighty fine to me. Proteus anguinus is quite a bit like us, except that one of them managed to stay alive in a jar in a laboratory fridge for 12 years without food. Dude, how many of you'd make it through week 2? When they finally sacrificed this skinny human fish to science, they found something weird. Its digestive system had completely disappeared. That's pretty adaptable for a salamander accused of lacking evolutionary drive. It did the only thing it could do under the circumstances to stay alive, which is something human beings may have in common with the little guy. Even with all the odds against us, we still give it a try. Thin-skinned and living in a cave, thin-skinned without any eyes. Didn't I used to be one of those guys swimming blind with nothing ahead and nothing behind? But somehow at the time, I didn't mind. A long time ago, Plato thought that life on earth was akin to being chained up in a cave, with the body as the prison and the soul as its slave. Only one knowing the light beyond could be the savior of our hopeless behavior and save our sorry souls from chains of ignorance. Which imprisonment seems a little bit silly when so many stay there willingly, watching movies in shadows on the wall. This is your life, your entertainment tonight, while the reality show blows up outside. It's no wonder if a body wants to hide. But no sooner had we made it out of Plato's cave, we started steering the whole planet to an early grave. And just because we can doesn't mean we should. We got a groovy movie we could try to make the ending good. So let's brainstorm here. Tell me what you envision. The nuclear family or nuclear fission? Should we slowly fade to black or go to blinding whiteout? Should the final track blow us right out of the ballpark and off of the charts? The sky's the limit. We could even shoot the sequel on Mars. Who needs Earth when we could all be stars? Silly monkey. Those aren't stars. They're headlights, and they're heading right for you. Better change your stripes, or the next one will floor you. And we got more important things to do than to spend our time being sold to you. There's quite a few of us, too. We're nobody's masters and nobody's slaves. We crave the same oxygen, brave the same knocks, and then breathe again until the last day when we've no breath left to save. And we creep back to sleep in our caves. The envelope of evolution is pushed by creative mutation, like an extra thumb growing straight out of the imagination.